Well, that was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? Look, the match at AEW's Revolution pay-per-view was one that I was definitely looking forward to. You know that by the last video where I gone on about how much I love Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatches, which I really do. And I think for the most part, that match between Moxley and Omega was really good. The psychology, the storytelling, the whole teasing towards the explosions was all perfect. It was all great. I enjoyed that bit. The explosions themselves, though, the whole thing that you base the match off of, it just didn't live up to expectations at all. And I'm not the only one who shares this opinion. After the pay-per-view finished, I looked online and everyone seems to universally hate the way the pay-per-view ended. And that's fair enough, because you promised an explosion and there wasn't one. And whether that was a dud, whether that was what you were going for, which I honestly don't think it was. Interviews that Jon Moxley did, that I listened to, specifically with Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer. Jon Moxley talked about how much he hated the whole bigging up a match and then not being able to do what you said in promo. He hearkened to matches like Hell in a Cell where you'd say you'd put someone through a cage when you know you're not going to do that. And he said he was going to blow up Kenny Omega. And he sort of did. Look, let me break it down. I didn't have too much of a problem with the explosion on the ropes. I didn't like the fact that you could clearly see the gap between the barbed wire and the explosions. If you wanted to do it properly, you really need those explosions to be attached to those barbed wire ropes. But still, when it hit, big explosion, I was pretty happy with it. I liked it. They did some unique stuff with this. Moxley used the explosions to break up a pinfall. That was really good. That protected the one-winged angel. That was just an interesting way of using the exploding barbed wire that I haven't really seen before. That was quite good. Also, something that I don't think's been getting enough talk, the exploding barbed wire bat. That was cool. That was very Onita, and I don't think that's getting hyped up as much as it could. As much as it did, because that could have gone wrong. But that was one of the bigger explosions in the match, and that was really good. One thing that I didn't enjoy, the triple hell barbed wire boards on the outside. When they hit it, honestly, the Death Rider onto it, amazing move, very cool, very vicious. But the big that you got after they landed, which honestly, that noise I just made was a bigger explosion than what that was. It didn't really work for me. The explosion was nowhere near them. It needed to be the board itself underneath them being a bang, then two mortars on either side going up like this. That was when I was like, maybe this isn't going to be too good. Maybe something's up. Another thing that they maybe could have improved on, I liked the idea of it being a time bomb deathmatch. You really needed to show the timer, I feel, to really sort of heighten things up. The 1 minute countdown at the end was really good. I like the build up to that. I like seeing it on the screen. Maybe have a smaller countdown for the 30 minutes and then show that 1 minute one on the screen when it comes to 1 minute. Another thing that they could have done, and look, don't hate me guys, don't hate me. I know not a lot of people like this, but remember at lockdown, I want to say 2008, but I could be wrong. It might be 2007. But it was LAX versus Team 3D in a electrified steel cage match. Now, as weird and as stupid as it looked, when they attached that sort of tube thing to the cage to visually show the electric currents going through, which isn't how electricity really works, but I thought it was interesting. You could have done something like that, right, to show that the explosives were armed, right? Have something visual to show that the explosives were armed. And then when the match was finished, I don't know, maybe the Good Brothers, Omega, someone goes like they're about to switch it off, and then they attack them. They're like, no, we want these explosions to go off. They're going off. And then that would sort of indicate to people more that the countdown is still going, like there is heightened stuff going on. Then weird sirens going off at random points. We're obviously not random, but I imagine if you were in the actual stadium, it would have been a bit weird to watch it, thinking, what is happening? But if you've shown, like, I don't know, maybe there was a guy who was like, oh, I'm in charge of these explosives. Oh, Omega won. I'm going to keep these explosives. I'm going to turn them off. And turn them off. Then Carl Anderson goes over. He's like, nope. Gives him a stun gun or gun stun, whatever you're into, and stuff like that. And they keep the explosives on. And then you're like, oh my god, what is happening here? And that could have been fun. That could have been good. Another point, very minor, but I did like the fact that Bryce Rensburg, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Bryce Rensburg, who I do know, I've watched Shikara. Bryce Rensburg, he did wear a bomb suit, although I feel like they could have improved on the bomb suit. The whole bomb suit thing, when I saw it, I was like, almost there, not quite there. You look at perhaps the Japanese referees in FMW, where they'd wear their bomb suits, and they're wearing these like lava, well, you'd see people who are going to volcanoes wearing, like that's what you need, not sort of a plexiglass mask and something you'd wear if you were, I don't know, painting your kitchen. That just seems a little weird to me. But yeah, that's some points that I had on the match. But this is how maybe we could have made the whole ending explosion a bit better. Firstly, and this is, I would have thought, basic, right? An explosion looks better in the dark. You could have turned the lights off at the venue, right? And I think it was open air, so it probably might not have been dark. I don't really know, I'm British, so I don't really know what the time would have been there, but I imagine it would have been pretty dark. Turn off the lights, and then when the explosions happen, like, all you're seeing is a big boom, boom, boom. And even if they were as small as they were when it actually happened at the show, covering it up with the darkness will make it look more impactful. That's basic, filmmaking 101 sort of thing. Like, I feel like having those bright lights, unless you've got giant explosions, like Onita in his outdoor matches where like it's during the day, but the explosions are so big, so massive that the smoke covers up everything. But if you can't do that, if you're not confident with it, turn off the lights. Turn off the lights, because if you can't see the wrestlers and how close they are to the actual explosions, then that's going to give you a bigger bang. Change 2. If you were going to maybe, not have the explosions go off properly, obviously I don't mean, because I don't think, I'm trying to figure out that I don't think they meant to do this. I'm pretty sure they weren't expecting this to be the big explosion. I mean, Tony Khan did a post-media scrum where he said, well, we don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want to blow anybody up.
Saw, it looked very cool, and it's a very deadly, painful match. But at the end, I mean, I don't know what people really want. Unless you wanted us to actually explode the guys at the end, there's only so much you can do.
Don't book a match. Don't book an Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch if you don't want someone to get blown up. Obviously, you've got to keep them safe. But if you're not going to go the full hog, don't do it. What does that mean? Anyway, look, that's besides the point. Look, what I'm saying is, if you knew it wasn't going to be as big as an explosion as people were expecting, and obviously they were expecting an explosion because you called it an Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch and you promised the ring was going to explode, you said it was going to explode, you kept telling us it was going to explode, and it didn't explode as much as it was. You need Eddie Kingston, which, by the way, that whole thing with Eddie Kingston saving Omega, that was awesome. That was a very good angle. It's a shame the explosion didn't go off, but Eddie Kingston could have looked up and he could have said, "You son of a bitch, Omega, you got me. You got me. You bugger." Obviously, it was on the fly. No one expected it to happen, and everyone had their eyes closed, heads down. But I don't know. It was odd. It was odd. Maybe Eddie Kingston was shell shocked. Probably said that wrong. When explosions go off, no matter. I mean, when you're in the ring, I imagine it would sound bigger than if watching it on TV. But you needed something, and the announcer's selling it like the heat from the explosions. We can feel it from here. If it was that bad, the people in the front row, like they'd be like no eyebrows, wouldn't they? Surely, I don't know. Point 3, I was thinking about this, and you could do this. Pre-tape the explosion, right, and then just edit it into the live. I don't know how difficult things like this are. I can't imagine it would be terribly difficult, but you could evacuate the crowd, because there wasn't a massive crowd. I mean, I think there was about 1,000 people, but evacuate them at the 5-minute mark. It should be like, oh God, these guys are crazy. They're going to blow everybody up. Everybody leave. The announcers leave. Ringside leave. Everybody leaves. Everybody's gone. And then they're watching outside, maybe on a big screen or something like that, like what's going on. And you cut to the inside and just do a Wrestling Society X explosion. Like, blow the place up. Like, just be like, boom, it's gone. It's blown up. Obviously, now they're going to do a different angle towards this whole thing. Like, you can't go with the story of Jon Moxley was blown to smithereens and vaporized because, well, that didn't happen. But I imagine they're going to run a different way with it, which is cool. That's fine by me. But that was just me. If they're gonna do another one of these matches, which honestly I want them to, not soon, maybe in years to come, do another one of these matches, but do them good, do them proper, do them justice. Obviously, AEW, whoever's working there, whoever decided on this match, loves this style of match because there was passion put into it, but it wasn't done enough justice, and that's fair enough. I mean, doing something like this live, you're gonna get problems with anything you do live, and especially an Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch, your first Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch. I didn't expect everything to go swimmingly, but make sure the triple hell explodes properly. Maybe do the explosion in the dark. I feel like that would be more impactful. But yeah, the match itself, like up to the point where everything exploded, was really good. They really sold you on the fact that if you hit these ropes, you're gonna explode. They teased big spots. They did a lot for the type of match they're in. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing what they do in the future, how they're going to run with the storyline. I know my hair has looked a bit insane this time around, but I wanted to give the look like I exploded in an Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch. But yeah, it's a shame about the explosion. You live and you learn, and it's a shame, as everyone said, the only thing anyone's going to remember is that explosion at the end. But I'll definitely watch the match again. I think it was good. It was cool. I love the story that they were going for, and yeah, definitely worth watching again.